Let's see here. Hey, it
Oh,
works.
we're live. I'm tweeting right now as we're doing this.
You're tweeting in the middle of our show. How rude is that? You start off
Yeah,
the show by tweeting?
yeah. I'm super
I
addicted
had
to social media. It's a problem.
I at least had the audacity of doing it right before I hit live. So at least,
For
I look cool.
sure. That's great.
That's how we do it.
Well, welcome everybody to another episode of Best of Our Week. Thank you for joining us. As we had to take last week off. I was last week at this time. My wife and I were furiously scrambling to shove anything we could into trash bags and boxes because our moving truck was going to show up first thing Friday morning. And it was pretty intense. So as much as I really wanted to try and make last week's show happen, it couldn't. And so I appreciate everybody kind of letting me take a bye week so that we could get
and a lot of people I think read the underlying cause and stuff, and everybody obviously wanted you to have a good move and so on. So we didn't want to be the reason why we show up at the new place and he was like, and I forgot the computer. Like I don't want that episode of Best of Our Week.
As we were doing that, like that night, I took like a 2-hour window where it probably would have been close to around our stream time last week, where I delicately drove the tower over here to the new place and like gingerly walked it up the stairs and
my god, computer. The last
crazy.
time I had to do something like that, I don't know if you remember, these was back in the day when I used to be part of LAN parties. Remember LAN parties? Like where you'd actually haul your entire PC with monitor, with the straps, and there was actually carriers set up for that stuff and getting the, oh my god. So yes, but then they were built more like tanks back then. Remember, they were like all metal on side. There's no glass. There's no RGB lighting.
Like I think I'm seriously considering when this Threadripper is just a little bit older and I feel like I can swap it out. Like I think I'm going to do a blackout build and just go like metal sides because it's terrifying. It was terrible moving this thing around, trying to get my desk built, setting up the bookshelves. Those have to be broken down, and it's IKEA.
I saw that in the clip that you posted on Patreon, which, by the way, if it's not already subscribed to Patreon, please make sure to check out this guy's Patreon. Amazing show.
Thank you very much.
Always love to plug. But that little clip, that little behind the scene, I saw the stacks. I saw the stacks of, the shelving units, and I was like, I never knew. I assumed this was like, like piecemealing, but I assumed it was like cubes, or maybe in a set of 2 or 3 cubes that you connected or something.
It's little wooden dowels that snap apart, like that are damaged very easily. So I'm impressed that the shelves, what I need to do is actually go through and clean, because like they've been moved and there are little gouges and nicks and scratches and places where I had tape. So I need to clean them up. But this is the 4th move for these bookshelves, and I'm shocked they survive.
I am glad that
they won't go anywhere for a while. So
let's hope so. Let's hope so. We got to talk about this moving schedule of yours. Once a year, every year, the Juan always likes to migrate a little bit further. Wait, you went west this time?
Yeah. Well, no. I mean, all of my moves have been just a little bit inching further and further and further west. Yeah. Now, this is the one where we moved last year to get Lex into the right school district. And we had plans on maybe trying to make an offer on the place that we were moving into, but it was not in good shape and it was not well maintained. And they were going to ask for way too much money for something that we also would have had to have dumped a ton of cash into.
I understand.
So this place came up on the market. It's in a beautiful little neighborhood. We're even closer to Lex's school.
Oh, good.
If we live here for a while, like as she grows up, she could literally like walk to her high school, having grown up with all of the kids. And it's a young community. There are tons of families all around us. So it's hopefully the long term. We're hoping that we're going to be here for a while and we don't have to worry about packing stuff up, because it's also the flip side. I don't know if you remember this from your more nomadic days, but you hold on to things that you don't need because you don't know where you're going to end up. So you end up pack ratting way heavier. So we've got a storage unit full of stuff that we can now kind of go, you know what? We don't need that desk. We don't need these shelves. I don't need that guest bed, that trundle, this futon. Like, we can get rid of all of it because now we know the space that we're going to be in for a while. And there's something really liberating about that.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And I think the good thing about it is at least that you guys are settling in. It's coming together. We see obviously a big improvement since Monday's show on the SGGQA. Just getting things on the shelf. The figures are up there. One of them looks like it's Android 18, but I'm pretty sure you don't have any unless that.
What we could try, I've got a phone here, and I think I might be able to get it.
Oh, good. Yeah. While you're doing that, I want to say, of course, hi to Michael Peppertag, Greg, Sebastian. Sam is in the show. Our buddy Sam from Across the Podcast. Gary, the fireman, the guy that drives the car while he's listening to us and talking with us. He'll be home very shortly. And of course, Ranesh holding us in. Everybody coming in, hanging out with us, of course. You're not late. You're not early. You're about the time that we've been holding this for the last few weeks. And, it's fun. We're going to try to see if we can get a live tour of the Gadget Lab. Was it 3.0 or is it 4.0? 3?
This is Gadget Lab 4.
4? Oh, so wait, the last one was 3. Oh, dang. Okay, so I've never been in Gadget Lab 1. I've only been on 2.
Yeah, Gadget Lab 1 was Tarzana 1, and then we moved right across the street in Tarzana.
Yeah, that's because I said
Gadget Lab 2.
Yeah,
and then Gadget Lab 3 never really fully materialized.
No,
Gadget Lab 3 was the sort of emergency pandemic studio, and now this is going to be Gadget Lab 4.
Gadget Lab 4. Oh, definitely. So I can't wait to be able to visit and take some. I'm not going to take anything. I'm just take some memories. It's like walk in there and take things. It's not a shopping spree. But yes. So Juan's going to try to log in. Hopefully, we'll see that feed come up. Overall, this week a little bit quiet. Not a lot of thing going on in the news in the news sphere. I think overall, Android 12 made a big splash last week. Mm-hmm. We didn't get a chance to talk a lot about Android 12 and Google I/O and stuff and announcements and stuff. You're firing up your V60, or it looks like Velvet.
No, it's V60. I'm gonna see. Because the issue is I want to pick the right camera and then also get the audio. So
yes, no,
an extra second too. But so when we're talking about Google I/O
mm-hmm.
and what was kind of announced, did you feel like this I/O was a little lean? There was lots of really cool assistant stuff. Obviously, Google's
future stuff. A lot of future stuff. We actually there was a lot of a lot of future tech coming in. There was a lot of information. I mean, Android 12 we knew was coming. This wasn't kind of a big surprise. It wasn't. I loved. There was some things in there that I found interesting, specifically on color processing and image processing that they were talking about. The Android 12 features, the securities and so on, releasing the beta, having so many companies on board at launch was interesting. The biggest thing that I started seeing that I wasn't 100% sure is, there's a few companies that released their beta at day 1, but day 2 took the beta down because they were having so much problems with it. And that nobody was covering, nobody was talking about and kind of going through with it. But as far as like major kind of a development in Android, other than the major UI, the Material U announcement, I didn't really feel like there was a lot. I mean, they focused heavily on accomplishments, changes, processing. They didn't talk about the fact that Google Photos is going to be having a major change in a couple of days.
Yeah,
which I feel like a lot of people are going to start feeling as soon as June 1st hits around.
Right,
but it's typical, look at the shiny ball kind of thing. It is style, but the image processing, I'm looking forward to seeing how that works with color tones and so on with people with different.
Well, because we've had some conversations with friends of ours in the tech space too that I'll never forget. I'm sorry. I'm a broken record player when it comes to this one, but I used to do Enabong's podcast back in the day.
The weekly.
Yeah. So it was always fascinating to see really crap webcams fail to expose for his skin. And there was 1 week where he was messing with one. It's this fancy, 1080p's this for streamers, and it's going to be great. And there was no way to change up the software to control for the exposure around him. So if his mouth was closed, it would blow out the background to try and expose up for his skin. As soon as he would smile and it could see any kind of white on a human face, it would immediately crash the exposure, so he looked like a Cheshire cat. All you could see were white teeth.
It was just the smile.
Yeah. And this one was like, this is just exposure. This is just getting the brightness right, let alone all of the differences in what a camera is going to assume for the way that light interacts with our skin. Because it's not just bouncing off of our skin. There's, like some light is absorbed, some gets reflected back.
And then shadows, of course. Yeah,
exactly. And skin is so complicated that, it's kind of ridiculous to think that this is a conversation that's taken us this long.
The 2021 for that to become a future feature.
It's current year, and we still haven't figured out black people have different skin than lighter skinned people.
I can say with a true exposure. I mean, especially with my wife and my son, our family, whenever we try to take pictures and so on, we have 3 different skin tones depending on the time of year. In the summer, my son goes swimming and he's outdoors a lot more. He gets a lot tanner. I mean, I got changed as well, but the exposure is very hard for us to take selfies, and it's hard. It truly is hard to take good pictures. Yeah. So that part I was excited about. I think was it Mum? One of them was. Now I'm starting to forget the name. There's that better audio better transcribing question communication with with the assistant. That stuff was interesting, but kind of like, I don't know if I really, how long before this type of things comes down. This is so future. This is not even in the realm of 2022. This is potentially years down the road. The things that I did appreciate, honestly, which I really felt like was the fact that they finally talked about security and the ability of being able to shut off camera and microphone across the system. Android, if there's one thing that I'm looking forward to Android 12, it's that feature and that feature alone, because I've had so many people, and for myself even, the ability of not being able to shut off access with a click of a button to everything on your phone without putting it in airplane mode and turning it off or something. It just, to me, has been like, how is this not a feature already? But it is built in. So hopefully OEMs carry it. I activated it on my Pixel and it works perfectly. We had it in the developer preview, but to me, those are some of the nice features, and the dashboard for, for the security, for permissions.
Now, when we're talking about this stuff, I really wanted to pick your brain. What did you think about this renewed interest, this conversation about Wear OS? We both have been wearing Tick watches for a while, and I feel like Wear OS on more powerful processing hardware is a completely different animal than what a lot of people have been experiencing.
Night and day. Yeah.
But we're seeing a new sort of a change up for a material design style language for the look, and we also see Samsung is going to be stapling their, the best of Tizen and the best of Wear OS kind of getting merged
into Wear 3 or whatever they're calling it.
But I've been seeing, like try hard editorials from people like, well, this seems like a defeat to me. And you're like, no, I kind of feel like this is a good thing.
This is a good,
choices is always a good thing, but I feel like less reinventing the wheel.
Well, there's a double side to that, right? I was excited. So first and foremost, I'm a big advocate, like you said, with the right hardware, the Wear OS works absolutely differently. And it's because we've tried different sets of hardware with the 2400, the 3100, and then the 4100 processing power from Qualcomm in there. And then also realizing that the amount of RAM was also a magic trick to actually get the thing to run a little bit better. That nobody seems to have thought. That everybody for years we had 512 as the maximum, or 700 and something. It was like weird numbers. But once you got 4100 with a gig of RAM, or even last year's processor with a gig of RAM, you notice a big difference. So Mobvoi for me is still the gold standard when it comes down to smartwatch, especially with the TicWatch 3 Pro that we got early this year. They made a GPS, a mobile, an LTE model for Europe, but essentially it's the same thing. My concern that I'm looking at, so I'll take this. My excitement is the fact that there is a focus on Wear or Wear OS, the next version of it. And the fact that Google is finally putting more effort into it, as opposed to this just coasting along, not knowing what's going on, updates every once in a while, and an update cycle that almost, it's almost inconsistent, that some people don't even just get updates at all. My worry, though, we never heard anything from them saying that the existing hardware can handle Wear 3.0 or the new version of Wear, because they didn't actually go that much into the specifications of what the requirements are going to be. If they don't marry, or if they don't allow us to actually bring in existing hardware that they can benefit from it, meaning it could make something that may have not run Wear OS typically well, now runs it better, that's going to alienate a whole bunch of people, not just Tizen users. I'm talking about even Wear OS users that bought the watch, that decided to buy the watch now and not wait till Samsung and Google release.
Especially those people that were hanging on for like fossils.
Absolutely, yeah, no, and especially when you start talking about more premium, more expensive than the $200-300, and those are decent prices for smartwatches, but we've kind of normalized around them for premium style. And I feel like the TicWatch is more of a premium watch, especially the Pro model, because of the displays. I'm just worried, and we just don't have enough information yet from either Mobvoi or other companies. How are the development? How is the current hardware going to handle it?
Yeah,
I want to say I think we're good with the 3 Pro, but I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. I
hope what we have, we're
anything
good.
running a 4100, because again, I don't think we've heard much from Qualcomm. So I'm not expecting a 5100 out this year. So if that's I
haven't heard much on that. Yeah, 4100 is going to have to be.
But
is there a possibility they're working on a separate SoC for mobile?
Well, if you're working with Samsung and we get an Exynos, then maybe.
So those are the things that we hear Samsung in the conversation for Whitechapel, right? We already know some of the things. We've heard some things. We've seen some leaked benchmarks and so on. And understandably, you covered some of that also on Monday with the SGGQA show. So to me, those are some of the things that I we've talked more about. But the wearable side, the smartwatches, the Wear, the next generation of Wear, which again, I was very excited to see that there is additional development and movement in the ecosystem.
Yeah.
Tizen not carrying on, I'm a little bit shocked. I'm not going to lie. I was surprised to see Samsung giving up on something that they spent so much money to build. But it kind of made sense. It unifying the system, it helps the development, helps the improvements. Because if Samsung's putting their research in the R&D department to help improve Wear the new Wear ecosystem, that helps get everybody moving in the right direction. And we can all benefit from it. That's the other thing. It's any user of Wear will benefit from it, because you can't keep a feature set just to Samsung because Samsung helped develop it. It's a Google-Samsung partnership. So,
and it's also two companies that I think we've been seeing feuding more than consolidating. It's not that Samsung and Google should be working together in any kind of antitrust way, but they've been at odds for so long, and Samsung has been partnering with Microsoft for so much that it's a little refreshing to see them talking and openly collaborating on something that we can all agree the division in the smartwatch ecosystem has let Apple run the conversation.
Oh, it's exactly. Now, everybody's a catch up. Everybody's trying to.
But now's the right time to catch up. Yeah,
it is. It is absolutely.
So, do you want to try and do a?
Yes. Let me go ahead and bring this in. And I do want to say hi to Adam. Also, he's hanging out with us in the chat.
Hey, Adam, how's it going, man?
Oh, okay. Now we got stereo Juan Carlos. That's how we like it.
I turned down my other mic, so that should be. Are you able to hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you perfectly. I was about to mute the other one, but let's do this.
So this might not work super well for the Wi-Fi, but I'm going to get up and walk around here. So this is the new streaming desk.
I see Vegeta. I approve.
Yes. There's
Vegeta.
I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to punch Kakarot in the gut. So this was the table that I was doing all of the shooting on before. And now it's just going to be my main stream setup. This is a big table, and it used to just sort of live in the middle of the room, which is why I
remember. Yeah, that was the backdrop. Yeah, exactly. It's one of those flexi spot desks
exactly
that we worked on. Yeah.
Look at you. You got your name brand on point there. I'm not going to show you.
I have one right behind me.
Well, it just takes up too much space. And the idea for Gadget Lab 3 was to make it more open and modular. And so that is what we're going to do for Gadget Lab 4, where that entire middle section is totally open.
Okay. How about I do this? I'm trying to see if there's a way.
Do it.
I was trying to get it. So we got it full screen, but I'm trying to get us out of the picture.
Oh, no, it's fine. This is good.
It doesn't want. Okay, we'll go back to it.
Yeah,
okay,
it's fine. So this entire middle section is now just going to be left completely open. I'm going to get one of those uber cheap, like $40 IKEA desks, just so I have something to stage.
Exactly.
But then all of this is going to be practical. So this is all going to be real storage, just because we don't have as much closet space here. And I'm going to be going for a little bit more of like a hardware unboxed or a Gamers Nexus junk store background, just for everything that's back there. I'm still not entirely sure if I want to mount my play button or not. So that way, at any given angle, this can be a shot where I'm talking to camera. This can be a shot where I'm talking with the monitors kind of behind me. I can flip around and get a shot that goes out the window where we've got a kind of a nice view. This is a second story, so you kind of just get treetops.
But out of curiosity, though, did you tell the gardeners that you moved?
Well, we'll see. I
worry. They need to show up at the right time.
We have no idea what our landscaper regiment is. So far, we know that
tune in next Monday for a new episode.
Thursday. Exactly. We know Thursday morning is a trash collection. So anything I do sort of early, 10 a.m., 11 a.m., you're going to hear dumpsters rolling around and stuff. But what I really want to be able to do is do something where, I can set up a tripod. Well, the color is all off on this V60 trying to go through Chrome. This is terrible. But I can do, sort of a camera setup here, literally rotate out, have a completely different shot, literally rotate out, have a completely different shot, come down and shoot low. If I want to do kind of like a sitting, talking, I can still do my normal camera, kind of vlogger setup. And I love the idea of being able to kind of walk with something and say, hey, now we can see if you want to see, we can pull out a Lumia 1520 and we can kind of go through the phone museum and talk about these things and have all of that completely accessible in a very easy way. And I finally have a usable window again. Because the window
you also have a way of getting some natural sunlight. Do you get some direct sunlight, or is it side sun? Or
so again, I don't know if you caught on Monday, and anyone who's watching on Monday, I face west. So it's this beautiful sort of morning light glow that's super indirect. It lights up the whole room, but there's no direct hard light.
You don't get that sharp. Yeah, exactly. So
it's so pretty. So
beautiful diffused light coming in.
Until about 1 p.m, and then from 1 p.m. on, this room is just roasting because the sun is hitting this window directly.
Once you said west, I am assuming the Gadget Lab is off limits till about 9 p.m. or something.
And so then I'm searching for, but we have a little back patio, and I'm looking at how we can maybe clean that up so that some of my B-roll can be outside. I can kind of shoot down there when it's too hot in here. It's just so much more flexible. And I can move around the whole space now, where I never set it up that way. I never set it up correctly for Gadget Lab 3.
No, dude, definitely. I like the setup, but I do want to confirm real quick. Is that Android 18 behind you on the top shelf with the yellow hair?
Top shelf. Oh no, right, this guy right here.
Dude. Okay. Vault-Tec. I got it. Yes.
So yeah, there's my Vault-Tec bobblehead. We've got the Alien. I use him a lot in low light photography. We've got a proper setup for Soundwave.
It's original Soundwave, mind you. So yes, keep going.
The Japanese reissue. It's one of the encores. I'm still trying to dig up an original diecast, but I do have one of the superhero Soundwaves right there, and right next to my Mighty Mugs Soundwave. We got Batman. We've got the Max. Yeah, remember the Max? That was kind of classic comics. This is going to be a Lego shelf with all of my Hulkbusters.
Oh, dude, that project with you and Lex, nice.
Yep, and here's all my Next Docs, portable monitors. So we this is all gonna. need to get stuff up on walls, and I need to decorate more. But I think like
yeah, I think the Wi-Fi is giving out on the phone.
Yeah, we let me get my other ear in.
Yeah.
We're gonna
let me see if we can bring it. Hold on one sec. Your audio is still off.
Oh, whoops.
Yep. No, that.
There we go.
Welcome back to the show, senor. Yes, you were
so I think we're gonna avoid doing all the gimmicky lights and stuff. Like, I think I'm just gonna keep
no RGBs,
sort of bright studio style lights just for this kind of illumination, and then
we're gonna have the party.
Well, I mean, we've got like really nice recessed lighting in the ceiling, and maybe if I get fancy, there are some Wi-Fi options for that. We can maybe do that.
Yeah, the Wi-Fi on the V60 is lagging, so I let it get. Yeah, no, it's good. Well, dude, it looks very, very nice. It looks at least 90%, if not,
it's
maybe
there.
Close. Yeah, close. I like the setup. The old organization that you had before, I loved the table in the middle because it was always a nice place for us to sit down. Like for whenever we hung out together, that was always my. I come in, we sit down, we have our own little spots on the right and left. So definitely looking forward to checking it out. I want to get on the calendar, man, just to set it up, get some ramen set up, have it at lunch.
Give me another week just to kind of unpack a little bit more around the house, and then you're still. I mean, I'm not joking. You are my first invite. And
I'm joking, but not joking. Yeah, I was gonna say I'm joking, but I'm not joking, but I'm not really joking.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Gabriela just joined the chat as well. Hey. Greg is in there. Davin Dave is in there. Yeah, shotgun cam. Yeah. No, V60 cam all the way. Transformers, and of course,
V60 on Chrome did not like StreamYard,
but weird enough, I actually don't fault the V60. From personal experience, trying to get Chrome to run the StreamYard on, like when we were testing out the Xperia Pro, or I was testing it out with the Xperia One Mark II, it's a Chrome thing more so than the V60. We know the V60 is very well.
That's right, because Xperia Pro, I forgot about that.
That was the whole shenanigans.
We had to uninstall all of the Chrome updates
exactly
to get StreamYard to work on the Pro. That's right.
When we troubleshooted that one, and just to figure out that it was optimizations that was causing the problem. So
that's
yeah,
right. And we figured that out before Sony did. It was like,
well,
you jumped through a bunch of hoops.
I think it's the audience and the use case. Realistically, I think maybe outside of the US, StreamYard may not be as popular. So, from a Japanese standpoint or European, it depends on the users, right? I mean, I think Streamlabs maybe more. OBS, a lot of people use OBS a lot more. I mean, obviously Streamlabs, OBS. But short answer is, we know how the V60 performed, and it did actually a decent enough job to get us around the lab. Looks awesome. I love the TV setup. I see the posters. I saw some of the Star Trek stuff in there. So yeah, very much excited. And take your time, man. Obviously we have a holiday weekend coming up. Hopefully, if you guys celebrate, I hope you guys have a good long Memorial Day weekend coming up Saturday, Sunday.
Are you gonna do anything? I mean, for us, we're gonna try and make sure that we just get a little downtime with Lex, because it's been a lot of life changes.
We're trying to so we're definitely gonna be at Magic Mountain a couple of times.
Oh, that's great. That's super cool.
We jump back into that. So it's mostly, so I'm still planning on having the show on Saturday, and then I think as soon as the show's over, we're gonna just go down, literally 10 minutes away from where I am, into Magic Mountain, spend the rest of the day with the fam. Omar's so the big development for us, that since we skipped Magic Mountain about a year because he wasn't tall enough for some of the rides 2 years ago, is that now he's actually tall enough for everything.
Nice.
And the guy wants to go on everything, like seriously, everything. It's just the lines are long. But and Hurricane Harbor is opening up, so that hopefully in the next few weeks we'll see if we can get some time there. We're trying to still feel like we got comfortable with Magic Mountain's process. I don't know how Hurricane Harbor would work, because as much as you'd like to keep your mask on, I don't know if you can keep mask on when you're in the water.
Yeah,
it gets a little bit, so to have to see.
I kind of feel like that's one where if you're just constantly submerged in chlorine, I'm pretty sure coronavirus likely won't survive chlorinated water. So
yeah, we've gone. My hope is that's how the case, but You know how typically it goes, though, right? You're in and out of the water. You're going around. I mean, he's probably going to be.
Well, once you go back to like your little, your you've got your little layout for some benches, and I'm sure they're going to be restricting the number of people that
It
are
is.
all
It is.
on
Yeah. So there's going to be some spacing, and there's going to be some restricted number, which is again part of what I'm excited about. But we're trying to finish up school, though. That's the other thing. We still have a couple more weeks or so of school time. Once that's over, but with the exception of that, we're pretty much just gonna, stay kind of local, hang out, not really much. I mean, I know I say Magic Mountain, but to me that's local. So that's not going far. But yeah, just relaxing a little bit. It's been going on, and I think it's gonna be a little bit warm. Not too warm, but kind of,
Well, I feel you. Gary's apparently looking forward to 3 days of rain. So,
yeah, East Coast is for some reason you guys get. I mean, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining about the sun, but I'm like, we need some rain, and
I
hopefully,
will happily trade you guys like a week of our sunshine for a week of your rain.
please, or I'll take 2 weeks of.
Gary,
Give
you
us.
want to write to like your mayor or something like that, and we'll make the exchange. We'll make the
turn on the
trade-off.
fans on high and just have it blow over to the other side of the country and just get us. And we'll send
how
some
much
of
would
our.
that suck if like both our sunshine and your rain just got like stuck in Topeka? You're like, oh, we needed that. Darn you, Kansas!
It goes right in the middle and it just stops right there. Yeah, no, Greg, but I feel you guys. Yeah, it gets very. I mean, and we're done. We're really pretty much done with spring. I mean, for the most part, didn't really get any rain in May. June's going to be June.
Lots of sort of the May gray. We had some of those really beautiful, like, man, how great was it when we were getting those 60-degree mornings?
Dude, last week was amazing. It just when we just shifted over to hitting 100. So it's so Missouri's doing the same thing. They're doing well with rain in Missouri. No, so it means Andrew's probably in the same boat as well because I think he's in the same area. So it's going to be interesting. But regardless, rain or sunshine, I really hope you guys are able to have some time to spend it with the fam and kick back and relax a little bit. It's the last holiday before summer stuff kind of starts kicking in, especially if you have kids and stuff. So for us, that's pretty much what we're going for. We're going through finals kind of for Omar's fifth grade. That was interesting, having to go through something online, and they gave us a special laptop that we need to have that they had to install a special version of Chrome and set it up, and he had to do his testing on that, not on a personal computer. There's a whole protocol. Very interesting how it was done, but kudos to to the school district for attempting it and doing it right. So
yeah,
we'll have
that's
to see.
good. And just have hopes that this time next year we don't have to worry about running kids through that kind of.
I really hope. Yeah, I really hope that the lessons we learned from this past year carry with us, and we all are smarter and we know more. We know, and we do better. And maybe that's a better way to say it, to manage it. Because I think if we had reacted faster, things would have been a lot better than where we are. But it's also more about continuing the being free. I mean, regardless if you are vaccinated or not, you still need to be aware. You still need to kind of make sure there's some distancing. So yeah, for those things, I'm grateful, and I'm hoping, like I said, things look pretty on the positive side here for California. Man, June 15th is around the corner, and it almost sounds like like nothing happened. So we'll see.
I know. This year has been the longest decade of my life, and has also been like over in the blink of an eye. So my daughter has started writing a diary just to remember what it was like doing things during the move and being in the pandemic.
The move is a big part. Yeah.
She's 5 and she's writing this all out. So it's great because like one of her diary entries was something just like, how did she phrase it? It was something along the lines of, I love people and I'm here in Agora and we're going to be happy. And you're like, oh my heart. This was her diary entry for the day. And so she's also got like a plot synopsis of Just Add Magic, the tweener television show where a trio of girls bake magic into their food so that they can fight the forces of evil. So she'll always be able to remember what happened in season 2 of Just Add Magic, and yeah, it's interesting to see like what makes the cut for a 5-year-old's diary on what was important for that day.
You know, they see everything and they absorb everything, but it is amazing to see what actually makes it to as the highlights, right? Things that kind of stick at the end of the day, because I'm sure she saw everything, she watched everything, and a move is a big. If you think about it, was like some of the more important parts of our life we don't really think about, but moving, getting a new job, getting married, and having a kid are some of the biggest life changes that you do, because you're changing literally everything: your comfort zone, your place, your access to things, your home, the shape of your home, your, that muscle memory that you remember where you can close your eyes and literally walk around the house kind of thing. That stuff needs to kind of rebuild now, right? But at a 5-year-old level, where her whole memory may not be as 5 years of life, she may have like a very recent. So I'm assuming the last
her memory, like a third of her life that she can remember, has been life under quarantine.
Yeah,
30% of what she can recognize, and we're still like, so much of her life is documented in 4K, and we'll show her videos from like when she was 2. Just to kind of like, hey, this is what you used to do, and this is when you started going to daycare, and this is like your first teacher, and you can kind of see on her face like that stuff is already gone, and it's been replaced by day after day after day of being in that last condo, doing online school,
Zoom
not
classes,
seeing people in person. I mean, it's heady stuff. It's pretty intense. So it's been nice that this move has also come at the very beginnings of mommy and daddy being vaccinated, going out and finding an open table at an In-N-Out so that we could eat a cheeseburger in public for the first time in over a year. I mean, stuff like that is pretty
it's great. It is amazing how exciting that it is to enjoy it, just eating a regular burger, like just even In-N-Out. That part, you're right, it is a big fact. And
so huge.
Makes me miss our old ramen place, man.
I will do my best to scratch that itch, because I feel like my chicken ramen is on point. But Sam is absolutely, that's hilarious. Reminds me of the Stephen Wright bit about keeping a diary as a baby. Day 1, still tired from the move. Day 2, everyone talks to me like I'm an idiot. I'm waiting for the first time like we have to like scold her or punish her or something, and it makes it into the diary. Mommy and daddy are such jerks. And I hate them. I know it's coming.
Oh my God, the therapy sessions. I'm just thinking. No, I'm just kidding.
Right, she's gonna take her diary to the therapist. Look what they made me do. They made me clean my room.
On the 5th of June, he did that. And you're like, I can neither confirm or deny any of these allegations. I do not recall any of it. I don't know.
Wow. I hope not.
You can fess up to the things you can, and
there are the things we know, and the things we know we don't know, and then the things we don't know we don't know.
And I love Aditya's comment right there. It's like too fast, too ramen, too furious. Dude, you guys have no idea.
And Adam, thanks for dropping by, man. I appreciate it.
Man. Yeah, I always forget. But thanks, man.
I'm hoping everything's going well. I mean, he put up an announcement on his YouTube page about some life stuff coming up with him. So
I didn't catch.
I hope it goes well. I hope you get to rest up, and I hope you heal up quickly, bud.
Please,
we'll be here for you when you get back. I'm not feeling like I should be airing. He said put it publicly, but anyway, I'm getting weird about other people's stuff.
Life. It's just called life. We got to deal with life. You got to handle and if you need time off, you need to hang. You need to take care of it. You need. I mean, it technically May is mental awareness month. You need to be aware of some of those things. There's a lot of people talking about it, and seriously, it's the biggest part of this last year that a lot of us maybe are not really facing yet. It's the fact that we had to deal with all of that, the close quarter, proximity, working, being a parent and a teacher at the same time. That's something that we haven't been, our parents didn't have to do that for the most part, right? They didn't teach us, they sent us to school. So playing those two roles is very hard. And 9 times out of 10, you have to juggle all of that at the same exact time. I'm in the office at the same time as being in the studio, at the same time being on call for parenting and teaching. So there's a whole bunch of things going on. So yeah, no, please, definitely, always try to take some time and rest. And I think I do need to schedule some time, when the summer kind of kicks in, when Omar's school is over, to try to get some of that R&R. And maybe, I mean, obviously we're not going to go far, but, just even going to the beach, hanging out for a couple of days, kicking it. We're not far. It's easy. So yeah,
it's
things
so
like that.
restorative. And same. I mean, look, I caught that. Sam and Matt they're going to be taking a little break from the podcast.
A little bit, yeah.
I think it's the right time, and I think Aditya mentioned it earlier before. Like, let's make this a good time to normalize, encouraging those to seek therapy if they think they need some help. Because
I call Call of Duty therapy. Just get in there and get all your frustration.
I feel that's totally fair.
I've been working on those things with Matt every morning. Sorry.
But again, I feel like it's the right time just to kind of keep reminding people that we're none of us islands, and that we do better when we get a little assist. No one makes it out of this life doing everything all by themselves, and it's not even a situation of like, hey, no shame if you need to. It's encouraged. I'm proud of you if you feel that this is something you need an assist with, and you go out and you seek that assist. So I mean, I feel like we got each other's backs, and we've got a really good crew here. And outside of that, it's always the right time to kind of do something nice for yourself, to treat yourself well.
Yeah, no, and Gabriela. Sorry, hopefully I'm saying that correctly. He's echoing the same thing. He knows some family members that are also in the education system, and firsthand knowing how hard it is for them to, be at home and being parents and trying to manage all of that at the same time. It's hard. It is very, like I said, it wasn't in the original announcement when he said you were going to be a parent. That part was hard. And I have a very, 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 I'm very appreciative of what teachers do.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also very aware that they are not paid well enough for it. Yeah. Let's just say that. That was the biggest lesson I think any parent learned last year. It's that, we don't pay them enough. We hand them off. We hand our kids over. And can you imagine having to teach a classroom of different personalities, different, approaches, different learning skills? There was a whole bunch of different things and stuff. But
and also and I'm sure you see this more with Omar than we maybe did with Lex. Lex is just doing her first year of pre-kindergarten. It's TK. And she's way ahead of the curve for the academic stuff, but we wanted her to have more of those social experiences. I'm going to be jumping into a conference for a friend of mine from high school, and she's a high school teacher. And I'm going to be talking about like career opportunities in online media and like the legal ramifications of producing content, fair use, commentary and critique, and then also like disclosures through the FTC. I mean, like, this is a pretty high level group of high schoolers, and they want to get into like the nuts and bolts of what this stuff can look like. And it's one part like, hey, can we even make this function? It's another part that those kids as high schoolers, their whole lives, they've been told what their coming of age experiences would look like.
Yeah.
And just before they got there, the rug was completely pulled out from under their feet. And some of them are handling it well. Some are adapting very, very quickly, and others aren't.
Yeah.
And it's the fallout from this, where even those who have made it through this relatively unscathed, or we didn't have too many serious issues with our family. Like, we were very lucky that our family went into lockdown aggressively.
Yeah.
And we only had a couple family members have issues during the course of this pandemic, and thankfully no fatalities. But even for us handling it well, there's a recognition that like life fundamentally changed, and we had an entire year on pause in a very disruptive way. So, I'm going to jump into this teleconference and like, be fielding these questions, and high schoolers are going to be zooming in, and some of them are back in person, and it's just everything is different. And at the same time, they're wrapping up their senior year of high school.
Yeah,
and
nope,
it's a
and they're
senior
ready.
year completely unlike anything that they've been told that they were going to get to do for their senior year.
No senior breakfast, no senior brunches, no prank day, no no skip days. All of the things that you got to do as a senior and to enjoy it. I got to go through a half a year of seniors because I came in and I did 11th grade and 12th grade both in 1 year, 6 months for each, because I transferred a lot of credits from Lebanon when I first moved here. And to me, I got to see part of that experience, but even then it was still something that at least I got a chance to experience. To have no choice, no say, nothing. It's a very big event, and at least we're starting to see. I'm hearing some discussions also about a lot of schools starting to try to do graduations, to at least making sure that the in-person graduations are occurring with some distancing in there. So, but it is very different. You're right. My hope is that again we all learned from what happened and we're able to maintain and improve, and that we don't see any kind of issues again in the fall. We hope very much that we're able to have Homar go back to school in August for his 6th grade, because he's 6th grade for him is his last class in elementary. So for us, that's also another big thing. So although we were able to do junior, 5th grade at home, I don't feel like it's the same. And it doesn't really educate the same when the kids are not in class. That participation, that everything that you do in school, there's so much more. So again, definitely. Sam, you guys take your time. Let us know if there's anything we can help with. I was joking, obviously, with Matt, but it's because Matt and I like to play, and Sam too. Like to play Call of Duty all the time. And lately, I've been jumping in with Dan, Airgeist. I think I'm saying it correctly. He's one of our fans. He follows.
I don't know how to say his name, so I was
Airgeist.
Really impressed that you
his name is Dan, actually.
Okay, Dan. Dan. I like that. That's good.
Dan. Let's just go with Dan. He's
strong name. Man,
very exactly. Very good in Apex Legends. So I've been playing Apex Legends with Dan in the mornings, but right before then I've been playing with Josh Quinones and Matt Tyler and Val playing Call of Duty. So to me, those are a little bit of mental escapism, kind of a little bit like being able to just forget about the world, put your headset on, and just jump in and have fun. Yeah. So for me, Apex has been a new, we talked about gaming, we talk every week, what's the new game? What are you doing online or enjoying and stuff? So, games are a way for us to enjoy life.
For sure.
We fired up the PC that I built for Omar. He played Fortnite on it for 20 minutes and then he went back to the phone. He doesn't like the mechanics. Keyboard and mouse are not for him. I was like, oh my God.
That's incorrect. Oh, he's got to learn.
I was like, wait a minute, son. You got to understand.
What's in the build on his?
So here's the thing. It's not a souped up build, but it's a what's it called? A gigabyte gaming. I want to say it's a 960. It's not even a 10 series. An 1800X, 32 gigs of RAM with the X470 motherboard that came back that was busted. Right. So essentially, it's a mishmashed PC. And it is running an SSD for a hard drive, but it's fast enough to run the game. It ran it pretty decently. I wasn't able to get it to go to over 60 frames, purely because I didn't have a DisplayPort cable. I was using HDMI, and I think that was my limitation. Okay. So, but it was still 60 frames solid, high, big, 27-inch display. So to me, I was expecting him to be like, oh yeah, whatever. I got him a good keyboard, gaming keyboard and mouse. But I think he's just not used to the mechanics of, the separation. He's used to handheld. So maybe I should set up a controller for him on the PC, but he needs to enjoy it. So we'll try a little bit more of this in the summer. And
what I do, maybe running him through like some older first person shooters like Portal. So puzzle mechanics, and you kind of get
he wanted to play Minecraft as well, so that was the other thing. I think I may set him up on Minecraft is he's big on Minecraft. It's one of the things, but Portal would be nice.
Portal,
get him. No, definitely.
And it's like one of the best it's one of the best first person trainers, because the whole game experience is over in like 3 hours.
But the thing about it is, so we set it up, he used it for about 20 minutes or so, and he went back to the phone because he likes the gaming
Yes,
on
that's
the.
incorrect. You've got to teach him that that's
I need.
wrong.
What the reason why I was waiting for Summer to.
You're a father now, TK. You've got to do this right.
You got to set it up.
You got to learn them right.
It's a need the controller. I like a detail. It's like, yeah, no, don't get me wrong.
Gabaletta, you gotta get good, son.
Yeah, you gotta get good. I wanted to have that conversation. I was shocked. I thought he was just gonna flock to the keyboard and mouse, and he was just gonna throw the phone away. No.
Well, that's like with me and Lex. She does not like using controllers. The only game still that she'll entertain using a controller is when she can button mash on Street Fighter 4.
That's how you win, man. That's how you play the game. That's exactly how you play the game. It's in the manual. Smash button, smash.
One time, she actually did take out Marie legit, where Marie was trying, but she kept doing like really, really cheap like leg sweeps in the corner. You know, like old school Street Fighter style when you don't really know how to play.
You corner the guy.
Marie was getting kind of mad. She was really trying to like throw some fireballs, and Lex properly took her out. It was pretty good. It was fun.
I've had those episodes every once in a while with Omar playing where, you know, he's button smashing and he's winning matches. I'm like, how did this make sense? How did that make sense? Especially when we're playing Smash Brothers on the Switch. This is the thing. I like the Switch for those type of games. You know, those are just fun, easy to play.
Oh, for sure.
But yeah, so short answer is I'm trying to get him used to it. I think I may just end up, because the setup right now, he's in the living room. So his entire thing is in the living room. It's hard for me to put a full-on PC in the living room without my wife
makes sense.
So once the school is over, I want to set it up right, put it in the right spot, make sure it has good ventilation. But at the same time, I'm hoping by then, I hope I will win a new X Shuffle and get some kind of hardware upgrade, because then I can just funnel some of the new stuff into his. That's the nice thing about it. The 2080 that I have can work perfectly on him if I'm able to pick up a 3080 or something like that. The 3080 Ti is supposed to be announced very shortly, like within days.
I want to be excited about it, but we're not going to be able to buy it for another year. So.
Nobody will be able to buy it for but not the biggest thing I'm hoping on it is the forgot the name, was it LHR? The LHR tech that they did is they inhibited the mining capabilities of the gaming cards. So what happens is that it becomes less appealing to miners and hopefully more available to us.
I think it's kind of a gimmicky compromise. There are a lot of people that genuinely would want to do both. And when you hamstring the card in one way like that, I feel it kind of diminishes what the overall capabilities of that thing are.
And the thing is that they didn't do it on all the cards. They did it to almost all of the popular ones. The 3090 will keep using the thing, but the 3090 is the most expensive, $1,500, $1,600 retail.
Right. So for me, it kind of feels like a price squeeze to get you to kind of go up the ladder, less a way to protect so you can really get the card, because it won't matter in this constrained market. It doesn't matter if it can crunch crypto. Gamers are going to get punished because as soon as they go up, a bunch of bots are going to snatch up all the inventory and then resell them for ridiculous prices.
And
we've got a conversation happening right now in our government about like ticket scalpers.
Oh my God.
About entities that exist solely to buy up some type of product, create an artificial hyped demand, and then profit from that additional squeeze. And I feel like this is the right time. We could be joining that conversation about like concert ticket sales with computer components.
Oh, chipset, yes.
So anyone who's upset about this, take the time that you would have taken to tweet some anger or post on Reddit and write an elected official and say, hey, look, these are all of the situations that we can show where someone is detrimental to the retail process and is inflating prices in a very anti-consumer way. And this needs to be examined. Write your attorney general or attorneys general, depending on what state you're in. Make a case for this and join these conversations. You know, send some messages to the EFF. Talk to some of the people doing right to repair. Component shortages are going to mess them up too. We're looking at an entire industry and an entire ecosystem that's getting hammered by this stuff. And instead of just being angry on Twitter where no one's really going to hear you, this is the right time to get a little political savvy and start making the case for this, because I'm sure there's some hot shot, assistant DA in a legal office in like, I don't know, Boise, that's looking to make a name for themselves, and getting in good with the next generation of internet savvy folks that are just coming up to a voting age would be the right time to get savvy, So I feel like there are more things that we could be doing outside of just complaining about, oh no, Newegg's not letting me win this shuffle. Take it outside of the retailers,
Yeah.
They're not going to change their practices because they make money off of this right now.
Oh no, exactly, and even not that I'm trying to put Newegg in the spotlight mostly, but even Newegg and suppliers are also, they've increased their own pricing, realizing that the hardware can be sold
what the market can bear.
No, exactly. The market is accepting $3,000 for a 3080 and $4,000 for a 3090,
and it becomes circular. So whenever there's that like price ramp from one side, the scalpers get to jack up the prices even more, because
it's like gas pricing, right?
It's all speculation. Exactly.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. It's on futures, right? Gas prices go up with the slight hint of any kind of uncertainty and take months to go down. And this will be the exact same thing. The approach that I saw there, because I think I was watching Trish's live stream a couple of weeks ago, and it was where they were talking about how NVIDIA and some of the other GPU manufacturers are trying to approach miners and trying to provide them with processors that are intended for mining only. But there's also a change on how Ethereum and crypto mining is basically going to be going. So there's a whole bunch of change in the
Ethereum's change to proof of stake. Definitely is an interesting idea to watch. I'm very curious to see if their implementation of proof is really going to drop energy demand as much as they say it will, but it still requires a network of powerful computing devices to kind of verify and maintain the chain.
Oh yeah, exactly. It's a solution on one end, but it's not really fixing the problem.
So nerfing, the crypto mining is a fraction of a fraction of a fraction of the GPU base of people that need these components. And it's still not going to change the buying behavior. What we need, and so Gabaletta was making a joke about, we have an agency that protects consumers from price gouging, is we need a bigger stick. If we're just angry and we're trying to play these games with retailers and we're trying to jump in and buy up components when stock is finally available and we're jumping through those hoops, we're kind of validating this entire process. But if we get someone in there that's going to more punitively react to middleman buying tactics, if it's toilet paper at the beginning of a pandemic, if it's GPUs in the middle of a component shortage, we need much, much harsher penalties for people that are trying to profiteer off of bad situations for a population.
And they put legislations at the beginning of the pandemic for taking out overpricing, gouging, and try to resell for upselling and so on. I think they hit a lot of retailers and so on, but that was short-lived, and I think that kind of went away. But we need something very similar, because the reality of the matter is it's just not. I mean, it's not sustainable realistically for companies to keep announcing hardware that nobody can buy. And it just doesn't make sense.
It creates a bubble that crashes. I mean, don't forget when we went from the 10 series to the 20 series GPUs, that was kind of a bubble pop. And one of the reasons why 20 series GPUs didn't quite take off was because of this oddly inflated market that then had to market correct, and then new GPUs came out.
The 30s. Yeah, exactly.
The 30 series feels like a better upgrade. I'm on a 2080 Ti, and it's a great card.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm on the exact same card. It's a very good.
It's a very good card, but compared to the 1080, the 1080 Ti was such a monster that the price to improve performance, I don't feel the 20 series cards really got us there. If you were coming off of like, I can't even remember what would have been before the 900 series, like my crap 970. I hated that card with the fiery burning passion of 1,000 suns. But if you were on a card prior to the 9 series, then the 20 series would have been an amazing upgrade given that much time.
No, exactly. And for processing,
but going from 2080 to 3080, I'm much more interested in that as a one generation upgrade than than what panned out for going 1080 Ti
to
to
2080. And that's why in for me, although I know I'm not going to have an opportunity to even pick up one or the other, I realize that I'm closer where with the Ti being announced, typically being slightly more efficient, I would say. I will set my sight on something else that I can't get. It's just I mean, in a weird way, like I joke about it, but short answer, it's a dream, and if I am able to upgrade, then my son's system gets upgraded by default, so that's the goal. If that happens, it happens. I thought about trying to go with like a system builder to try to go through with them, but that's like a 3,000 to 4,000, because they have the upsell, the up marketing on it, and I don't want to buy a whole separate entire case CPU, not CPU, case,
not
power
when you've
supply.
got such a good starter system ready to go.
Exactly. I just need the component. It's but either way, I did want to talk a little bit more about like last time we talked a little bit about the revisiting the Duo. This week I was on a weird, like, for some reason I felt like, talking about the S21 Ultra, to go back to the S21 Ultra for me was a little bit
I was going to reach over and get my Duo. It's like, if we want to talk about the Duo again, let's talk about the Duo. It's super cheap right now. You should get one. It's like the best LTE tablet you can buy right now. I love it, guys.
Sam dropped the thing earlier in the chat. He was like saying, what's it called? Android 12 is going to be available on the market before the Duo gets Android 11. So let's just say that. Let's just move on with.
Yes. Android 12 is already available before the Duo has Android 11. Yeah, sorry, but I interrupted like a jerk. Please continue. You were talking about.
Oh yeah, no. The S21 Ultra for me is it's a device that was very, and it's not just us, right? I mean, I think there is an existing feeling, or now that it's been months since the device has been out, that you're just not getting what that promise, that glory that we were supposed to be able to get once we pick up the S21 Ultra, as if that everything becomes better. There are some serious challenges. I mean, even to this day, I've been plagued with this one audio problem that just will not go away, and I don't know how to fix it. I've reset the phone multiple times, but what's
the audio problem?
So if I'm on Wi-Fi calling. And which I do, because obviously when we're home for better signal. So if I'm on Wi-Fi calling and I pick up a call on Bluetooth and I hang up on the call, and then I get another call, but I need to leave. So I'm jumping from Wi-Fi calling over or I'm making a call, right? The phone will ring, the call gets picked up, the other person can hear me, I cannot hear them. There's no audio at all coming in from if you play music, the speakers work, headphones play music, but phone calls don't. And after I posted my video on Tuesday, or was it when I posted the video, I found out that there's another gentleman having the exact same problem on the S21 Ultra. Has the Snapdragon version on T-Mobile, and has very similar hardware. It's an issue, but I haven't been able to fix it. So that's something that to me, bugs that with all of the updates that they've been pushing, that audio bug is still there. Resetting the phone doesn't seem to fix it. It seems like it's a systemic thing. I don't know if it's specific to T-Mobile. I need more than 2 data points kind of thing.
Right.
But I don't know that many people that have S21 Ultras. So I did share some of the good things. Obviously, some of the nice things of having it, once you get the right format or the version of the S21 Ultra with the right storage, because I was showing in the video, I said, look, I have already 61% filled up out of the 256. So there's no chance of this would not have worked for me. And I think you've said this before as well, is when you buy a phone that you're picking up to be able to take video at 4K, 4K 60, 8K, and this does 4K on the front. So I actually have it set to 4K 60 on anytime I use the S21 Ultra. I don't believe 1080 should be used in anything. If I want to use 1080 later, I will downscale it from 4K 60, and that's how I shoot.
And I probably won't, because I'll just keep it 4K.
No, exactly. And 4K 60 is shareable. I always say 8K is nice to have, but 8K is not shareable. 8K is not the quality that you will shoot with on a daily basis. You want to be consistent. You want to have that buttery smooth. You want to go 4K 60, 4K 120 if you want to be able to record, some kind of like fun things where the audio doesn't really matter as much. So, but anyways, for me, I'm at 61%. So that kind of got me, like, I started reliving some of those initial feelings. And I put it together in a video. I wanted to share that with some people. It's just to kind of give them like a little bit more of a long term revisiting a type of a device. I mean, my hopes is that we see something very nice out of Pixels when they come out, because I'm putting a lot of faith in that the Pixel will bring me back into that system that I wanted. I feel Samsung didn't hit the mark. We're not going to see a Note this year. Android 12 may fix some things, may improve some things, but again, it's going to be skinned to heck with UI, with One UI. So at the end of the day, you're really not going to feel Android 12. You're probably going to just see Samsung's UI. That's why I really want to see what Pixel's doing, and I'm kind of building my hopes. And of course, I want to see also what Sony has to bring in. I mean, we saw a lot of leaks and so on with the Xperias and stuff.
And have you been trolling those like Russian and Japanese videos?
So
that have been
last Saturday on the chat, I forgot the gentleman that mentioned it. Oh wait, Andrew's in the chat. Somebody was mentioning what was it going to say? Somebody in China was able to pick it up. Like they're saying some people were actually able to pick it. And I was like, how is that possible? Like seriously, why is it we're always the last? But yes, so
we are not a desirable market for phone manufacturers around the world.
Canada got the TCL 20 Pro.
I know.
I was like, Canada, you're like, just throw it over the wall. Do we have a wall? No, we don't have a wall.
Well, I wouldn't blame Canada for building one.
No, I know. They're like, you guys could just do We're just gonna do.
We're good.
We're good. Thank you. No. It was just I was seeing. I forgot the name of our buddy. One of our mutual friends online got his the TCL 20 Pro. So yes, definitely, it's been a very big. Interesting push of where we fit in the order of the feeding thing. But
I'm feeling increasingly, and to kind of chat out your experiences with the Ultra, and where I've been genuinely pretty happy with my OnePlus 9 Pro.
Oh, by the way, conversely, I love the FX3 Pro, the Find X3 Pro from Oppo. Yeah, very happy with it. Very happy with it.
I'm very curious. I'm going to try and get my hands on some more Xiaomi. Like I really want to just circle back to like a Mi 11 or something, just to kind of see what they were able to do. Because the Mi 11 Lite took me by surprise. That was a surprisingly, even for the LTE version.
What was I going to say?
Surprisingly good phone.
Let me know if you want to take the 11i for a spin, if you can't get your hand on it.
Yeah, we'll do, definitely. Maybe that one. I feel like the 11i versus the regular OnePlus 9 could make for an interesting conversation.
They're more comparable if you have to kind of because the eye is slightly
I might take you up on that. I'm just now sending back their Black Shark, so if they're not amenable to maybe sending me out another loaner, then I might hit you up on that. But I feel like our conversation. I've been super cranky about this since the iPhone XS. I'm so tired of these ridiculous marketing claims that build up hype beast machines around Samsung and Apple launches. And the reality of using these products, the improvements have been a lot more iterative. Tiny, small refinements, barely noticeable improvements to camera performance generation over generation, especially over these last, I would say, 3 gen, from S10 to S20 to S21. There are still arguments that I would make for an S10 being legitimately a better phone than an S21. And especially dollar for dollar.
Feature set, headphone jack, SD card, MST, the list goes on. But yeah,
and same S20 to S21. I mean, especially now that you can kind of buy them at around the same price, if you're shopping used or refurb. If you can get an S21 Plus,
the S21 S21 Ultra now is permanently $999. It's under $1,000. Yep.
And we keep kind of falling for this same cycle or this same trap when we're not doing a very good job of expressing why someone might want more compute power. We're not doing a good job of really digging into the nooks and crannies of what does a camera upgrade really get you. And we keep hiding behind these lazy truisms bigger sensor, I guess pixels are just useless now. But $1,000 iPhone 12 Pro is still a very good phone. And like, you can't be more manipulative and more obvious
Feeding
in
into
moving the
the
goalposts if you're gonna play that game, where we're super critical about a Pixel 5. That's terrible. Google's just so lazy using a smaller camera sensor. iPhone 12 Pro, yeah, it's fine. It's a little
Same.
expensive, but it's still a really good phone. And you're like,
it's worth it for the monies.
what are we doing? And so there's so much about the S21 Ultra that makes more sense in my brain.
Mm-hmm.
The S21 and S21 Plus don't make a lot of sense in my brain if we're talking about using a phone, using all parts of the Buffalo. It's the joke that I've been using a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got my V60 here, and it's been in hand's reach because every time I kind of spend some time with the OnePlus 9, I was spending some time with the Black Shark. I was kind of playing around with a couple other phones. There was always something missing. Stylus support, dual display support, beautiful headphone jack for audio. Some of the better camera creator tools that you can control video. Like,
for sure,
I can get most of it on another phone, but I can't get all of it.
The combination just does not exist. Yeah, exactly.
Right. And so I'm unique. I am not a mainstream phone consumer, but I know that there are so many more people that are trying to use their phones at a higher level than what techies review. We're still talking about these $1,000 plus phones in terms of like the lowest common denominator average use. Like, we all need to check our email, right? So I guess that's all I'm going to do to review this $1,000 phone. It opened up my email app a fraction of a millisecond faster than last year's phone. That's why you need more horsepower. You can't get by with the Snapdragon 865 anymore. I mean, your concerns over the S21 Ultra are well heard, because I feel like we've continuously let consumers down with the explanation, the follow through, the education on what does it mean when you show this bar graph of more power? What does it mean when you're talking up better AI composition tools in your camera app? What does this mean? Because I've seen so few people actually demonstrate any kind of generational improvement. And they're just going off the marketing sheet. They're just reading off the specs. They're just telling people who already bought the phone that they did a great job buying that phone. And then they kind of just go off to the next video whenever it kind of suits their needs to talk about novelty. And YouTube wants them to be interesting and fresh on the trending topics. So it's frustrating. And I feel like because of this, we're probably in for another generation of phones next year that don't feel like improvements. Because why? Why make the phones better if people are going to keep buying kind of the same tiers of performance, but you can kind of keep lifting prices up or cutting significant features to kind of
overinflate the price at the beginning and then swipe very fast right after that. Lower it right away. After the
again,
initial.
You'll always tag your fans. You'll get them to pay an inflated MSRP, and then the real price of the phone will sort of sneak in there about 3 weeks.
Yeah, and at $1,000, I think the 128 is somewhat where it should have been to start with in the first place. 1,200 was too much, and then the 128, the 256 would have been an extra $50 on top of that. It makes kind of sense, but I think the overall experience for me is just that even to this day, I still have some things in there that I just feel like I don't feel like that the story didn't get better with updates. It didn't get better with the OTAs and all of the things they've been pushing. Some things got caught up to what the S20 was giving me before the S20 Ultra, but there are things that hardware wise I'm limited by what I have. Now I got over the MST function. That was partially that because I stopped using it. I no longer use Samsung Pay. That was thank you to the S21 Ultra. That was one of my thing. But battery did get a little bit better. Kind of will last me about a day if I'm running it without being too much video taken on it.
But I mean, just listen to that.
It's the compromising experience to get the best out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's not what Samsung marketing is talking about. They're talking about everyday epic.
Yeah, yeah, everything is supposed to be the best thing ever, and
And you
you're
can't do everyday epic if you want your battery to last past lunchtime.
exactly. I did have to charge it today. I will actually, I will take that back. I did, before the show started, I did plug it in because I was down to 30%. Yeah, it's about 31%.
I'm using my V60 to test out US Mobile. They sent over some SIM cards, so I'm gonna be doing a little write up on them for reviews.org. I took my V60
from US Mobile somewhere
off. Let me check them out because they operate on both T-Mobile and Verizon.
Yeah, no.
You can choose like which service you want to go with. Definitely, give them a reply. They've been pretty cool with the hookup so far. I took the phone off the charger, fully charged, yesterday morning at around 9 a.m. And I'm down to 66% with a lot of dual screen video streaming.
Nice.
There's
the V60 is always been.
Yeah. No way I could touch that on a OnePlus 9 Pro. Yeah, and a part of this is also like I still like to do the thing where I'm playing Dead Cells on the bottom screen and streaming a video on the top screen. So I've been trying to catch up with Jupiter's Legacy, and I got to play a game while I watch some Netflix. That's got to happen. And I was doing it over cabled headphones with the my super high quality audio. And boy, that sounded good. And I'm at 66%. So that's not heavy use. That's light use for me, but it's a lot of dual display and video streaming. I mean, like I'm not sold on 120 hertz if it hurts the battery this bad.
Yeah, no, Michael Peppertech. I think that's where I saw the US Mobile. That may be the exact same thing where I saw their name following me on Twitter. I think I forgot what it was. Yeah. It was just kind of like out of the blue. I'm like, US Mobile? Who's US Mobile?
So Aditya and Gabaletta are talking about phones from like 2 and 3 years ago, and the compute power is fine. The horsepower is good. I have some arguments that I could make where if you were looking at specialized use, you might want the crazy hot high performance CPU core of an 888, or maybe you'd be okay with an 865. But if you're on an 845, you're still overkill for a lot of your daily driver apps. And it's getting rough, like trying to find reasonable commentary on that from larger channels that seem to be built on the immediacy of whatever new release is coming out. So I'm kind of feeling like I'm bummed for you, because I think we were all kind of interested in the S21 Ultra as sort of a Note carryover.
I was hoping that it continued. It's the Ultra part of it, right? It's the conversation when you say that this is the best that I'm offering, this is the best that I'm giving. And then you immediately, the moment you finish saying the word best, you start saying, but, and then you're like, well, we took this out. It's not the exact same situation. It's different than the Ultra from last year, and you are really not getting that much of a better camera experience. Don't get me wrong, the telephoto lenses, the dual telephoto lenses on this are good. They do the job correctly, but I am not typically a telephoto type of an experience. I prefer a much better experience on the ultra wide, the way the 9 and the 9 Pro did. The ultra wide, having that 50 megapixel camera there, was
and especially after that last OTA from OnePlus. How good the
OnePlus 9 and 9 Pro have been getting better every time they push an update. OnePlus is on top of their game when it comes there. But again, those are the things I appreciate more. So those are the concerns that I'm looking at. It is just that, it's not better. It's just and it's just a different time. And this is what's going to carry us through 2021. I mean, unless Samsung decides to release a different smartphone without the Note 21 Ultra, this is the best. The S21 Ultra is going to be the best that they feature.
And don't you get the sense now that they're probably going to make some similar compromises coming into the fold? Like,
oh, absolutely,
it'll have the same cameras as like the base model S20 instead of
it's going to be exactly a very much compromised and it's very but then they're still going to charge you through the roof. It's almost like we're paying for that luxury. Adam, I know it's not in the chat anymore, but I mean there was a well documented concern and issues that he was dealing with Samsung support trying to fix his Fold.
Oh yeah,
where
the flip flip too, yeah.
So to me, those are big things. I still have my Fold. I mean, I powered it up a week ago to kind of just see how things are going, and between going updates and checking in, I'm having some problems on my outer display, like not as responsive as it used to be before. I'm a little bit concerned now because I was thinking at some point I'm going to have to trade it in, right? I mean, or at least sell it, so at least get some on it. But the touch response on the outside display is not what it used to be when I first used it, and there isn't that many updates on it that I can fix. So I don't know. It's a very weird, like everything other than Samsung this year for some reason is exciting me. That's why I'm saying Pixel's definitely going to be there. I want to see the new Sony. I want to see, not just Google's approach to Pixel, but it's also the fact that they're going back to Pro. They're going back to the larger, the 4XL. That's really what I'm thinking. That will be the successor to the 4XL to me. The 5 was a good smartphone, and it still is a very, very good smartphone. But I was missing, the 4A 5G. I wanted that to be the XL. So we'll have to see how that kind of goes. And then, oh man, and Fat Bird is jumping in with the Mate 20X is still very sexy. I don't know if you ever get a chance to play with that. One of Huawei's massive beast of 7.1-inch display.
Yeah, I got to play with one, but not long enough to really review it. Gary the Fireman has been saying that Android 12 on his Pixel 4 has been really, really good.
It's been very. I will say this with the fact that they're doing a major UI update, with the fact that they're trying to also go in and very heavily focus on security and permissions and so on. Android 12 has been actually surprisingly well received. The alphas or the developer previews were daily driver steady. I mean, stable. I'm not trying to throw daily driver in the. I know we can have a conversation separately on that.
I know what you meant. I meant. Average consumers over here.
Q Greg. No, but it's been running on the 4A. The least common denominator when we think of the processing power, system resources, availability, like butter. Everything works, crashes once in a while, but that's an alpha and a developer preview and even the beta. But 4XL worked on it great. I think Gary was commenting on it. Greg installed it on his 4XL. There's a whole bunch of things going on. So I'm feeling like 11 to 12 will be a much smoother ride than 10 to 12 was for a lot of people.
Fingers crossed, because 10 to 11, we've got all these headlines, OnePlus has totally failed all of the OnePlus 7 owners out there. And like, I really don't think they have. Especially this most recent bullet point update. I finally just got it on my OnePlus 7 Pro. I have spent zero time using those phones, and I want to go back and actually see like, how are they running on Android 11? But
there's a few bugs here and there if you don't do the reset. My brother's using a 7 Pro. I gave them a 7 Pro to my brother. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying is almost every phone. The only phone that I don't feel that a hard reset was necessary were Pixels.
For me, Pixels, it was the Sony. I didn't have to reset the Sony.
See, but I
got another update. Did you get the other update on
on the One Mark II?
Yeah. There was another update.
So I'm also going back to the One Mark I and seeing, because it just got another little bullet point patch.
Oh, that's right. Too. You have the original. That's right.
So I still have those too. Yeah. But even on my One Mark II, going through the Sony Reddits and the Sony forums, there were a lot of people that were having significant issues with performance. And me nuking my One Mark II I just wasn't going to mess with it. Like, that update was so good for the One Mark II. Like my Geekbench scores dropped and everything else got faster. Like video rendering got faster, audio production got faster, everything got faster. My Geekbench score was smaller. Oh, boo-hoo.
Well, then the phone doesn't work, man. You should just get rid of it.
It's not even worth keeping a phone.
Is it even worth to be having a SIM card in it, man? Seriously.
Right? I mean, I just threw up in my mouth again just thinking about it.
Geekbench says what it is. You just listen and move.
So I'm hoping that what this is a reflection on some of the promises that we started hearing about with Android 9. The core underlying framework of Android, all of the behind the scenes stuff, the Project Treble, all of those things that are supposed to streamline and make this upgrade process easier for manufacturers finally being realized. And so that we don't have to wipe out a phone to get the performance we should be.
And you really shouldn't,
hopefully
because most people won't be able to when they have all of their life in the phone.
Right, no memory card.
Yeah. Memory what? No. It's one of those things that you kind of just have to. I'm very happy the fact that Sony is spearheading the conversation, and it is basically going to be the only game in town now when it comes down to premium smartphone experience, but also with premium features. I mean, the cameras on the One Mark II are solid. Anything they can do to improve that experience is obviously, just icing on the cake to start with. We already have display mirroring, the stuff that we got directly from in Android 11 with the Xperia Pro. So there's a lot to be said about the One Mark II. I think I was talking to Joe Hickey earlier, like a couple of days ago or so, and he said he was able to find one that's close to about 350 pound. I said, snag it, get it.
A One Mark II for 350.
For 350 pounds, so it's about 4 something. I would say 5, whatever. That is a crazy good deal, man. Snag it. It's a good phone. It's a solid phone. It's going to give you that experience that you're wanting. If anything else, dude, it's a 4K 60 hertz panel for content consumption that is just beautiful. Yeah, no other display on the market. No other manufacturers making a 4K panel. Everybody's shooting for just the 1080p, 120s, 144, 165, whatever. The One Mark III obviously is hitting 4K 120, but I know. No, exactly. No. It's an easy buy for me at 350. I was like, wow. But short answer, yeah.
Again, it's the blessing and the curse of some of the less popular manufacturers. But you're in territory now where that feels a lot like the fire sale pricing around the Razer Phone 2. But from a company that is actually showing that they're doing a better job of supporting the larger operating system updates, not just the security patches.
And it felt like it got better with Android 11. I've received 3 updates since the update to 11. Since
Sony is pretty good.
Yeah,
this is what's so frustrating. Did you see the last write up? What's his name? I can't remember his name. He always does the report card on manufacturers that for how they do how they handle upgrades. Raphael.
Is it?
Oh, that's gonna bug me. I should not have forgotten his name.
It's okay. So yeah, what was
so the frustrating thing is he breaks down like Samsung and LG and the top 4, OnePlus and all these things. Everyone's getting like poor grades, and
typically, yeah.
You make it to this because there's always like a first page and a second page. You make it to the second page and like, oh, there are all these other manufacturers like, oh, the Surface Duo, what a joke. And they're not getting any updates and this is terrible. And I guess if I had bothered to look up Sony, they probably would have scored really high. And like, what are you doing? The whole point of this article is to give the grades. And that's what goes into helping people make a purchasing decision. And you're literally writing like, Sony isn't popular enough for me to bother looking up their update schedule. But from what I've seen, it would be one of the highest scoring phones on this list that I act like I'm such an authority on. And you're like, yeah, that would contribute to people who cared about software support looking at Sony as maybe a viable option. And you're sitting here literally telling us that you're not going to do your job in covering a Sony. Oh, well, and it's that like we're saying the quiet parts out loud. You know what I mean? It's killing me because like that is absolutely a data point that someone who claims to care about updates and software support, and from personal experiences all the way back to like the Xperia compacts that were getting like security patches well past the sort of expected 2-year life cycle of those phones. Sony has been good.
Yeah,
I would never say they've been the best, but they've been.
It's about consistency and actually providing the updates, doing what you're supposed to, and that's what you need to. It's the track record, right? So to me, and it's not just about the phone that is still brand new that you just released. It's about the phones that you have on the market. So for me, getting Android 11, getting it, and like I said, not everybody had the same experience, but for me, it was actually a pretty smooth experience for me. And I have quite a few Gmail accounts. A lot of my apps are in there, over 200, over 300 apps actually installed with data. So it's not like it's just apps. So for me, it was very pleased. I was very pleased with that. And then again, with the fact that, we are in May, 3 updates since Android 11 coming in. So they're still bringing up the May, security patch update and so on. So to me, that's a dedication. And it is still, even though it's a year old, very, very capable smartphone that gives you, again, when Joe said
there's an expectation,
350, I said jump on it.
And there's an expectation that this was a very expensive phone for people who bought it last year. There was nothing.
It was 1,200. Yeah, exactly. That was the biggest gripe for a whole bunch of people.
Aditya pulled it up, J.R. Raphael. So
okay.
I don't want to be like smack talking another person who's like trying to do this journalistic rundown, this comparison, but this is why we're having such a hard time talking about phones right now. It's like you put Samsung in the first category, the first thing that you're going to read, and that most people are going to tap out of that article. But when you have an opportunity to actually share good data on other manufacturers, and you literally tell your readership, nah, I'm not going to bother. It's just not worth it. You might want to know, and that might change your purchasing decision in the future. You might consider a Sony if I were to really tell you that this stuff was good, but it's not popular right now. So it's not worth talking about. It just kills me. This is why people act like phones are boring, and why we act like Samsung is the gold standard when this is kind of one of their worst years. This is a very off year for Galaxy.
It's a very challenging year for Galaxy, and they're changing their approach. They're doing a whole bunch of different things, which I think seriously, this would have been, the right approach would have been for them to actually give us an upgrade to what they were talked about and provide us what they did, what they promised.
Or just admit that they wanted to rip off OnePlus's business model.
Exactly. And it's just,
they wanted to muscle in on OnePlus's turf, and they were criticized for the S20 being too expensive. And so they're trying to make a play. And I think OnePlus is building the better phone this year than what Samsung is. I mean, I'm speaking mostly because my experiences were with your S21. I'm speaking more S21 and S21 Plus. I feel
and the S21 unfortunately is no longer with us. I did get rid of it.
Yes, because there's no reason to keep it.
No. There was no reason at all to keep paying $41 for a phone that I did not even want to.
Not when a OnePlus 9 can pretty handily crush that phone in almost any use except for DeX.
And I feel like I said, there's
DeX.
DeX is a very specific use case scenario, but I really think other than people that truly understand what Samsung devices can do, really don't even. There's a good number of people out there that don't even know DeX exists. This is the weird part about it. It's so buried into the settings section for you to activate it, to be able to turn it on and project it, that if you don't necessarily plug in and install DeX on PC and utilize it over time, like I've followed DeX ever since the initial representation, where you had to buy a custom dock just to be able to activate DeX, right? And now we're able to use it with NextDock and so on. So to me, it's a great improvement. I can't wait for Android, the desktop Android, Android, I don't know what I want to call it. Android desktop mode, that name
something.
That we give. It's something. It's still, even to this day, and I can't test it because the two devices that I was hoping that would give me access to the Android 12 version of desktop mode pulled their betas out. Okay, so Oppo and OnePlus are the two companies that typically allow us to turn it on. Exactly, because LG is not giving us a beta, so that's not even part of the conversation. So to me, it was a very interesting approach, and there was a lot of problems. There was a lot of problems with both Oppo and OnePlus's beta. So I'm glad they pulled them out. By the way, I'm glad that they listened to the user base.
I'm disappointed.
It is.
Sure.
I would have hoped for it to be a little bit less device bricking, I would say, if anything.
That's generally bad.
That was just it was just weird, but like I said, there's also some indications, possible things coming up that maybe ColorOS may have more of an influence around Android as it pertains to both OnePlus and Oppo. But those are things. That's what I wanted to kind of say, because I think was it Max that he did install the update and his device didn't break, and he showed a picture of it. He said it's starting to look more like ColorOS. So those are things I'm interested to see, just more so from a development, but also kind of to just follow the trend. I'm a big fan of both companies, and I would love to see some synergy to optimize the ecosystem. But I kind of like them both.
I'm not bothered with the idea of OnePlus becoming more and more an arm, a regional arm of Oppo.
Oh, absolutely. I think ColorOS 11 runs so smooth, so good. And Oxygen OS 11 also run very, very nicely. They're both very also, well developed.
I don't feel like, now that we kind of know that BBK is sort of merging the leadership of these brands, and that they're really more just labels for different regions.
Oh, absolutely.
Some regions have OnePlus established, and some regions are gonna be more Oppo centric. I would rather them dedicate their resources to supporting their phones better long term, having a unified code base, having a unified skin, bringing all those parts together. I miss the days of when Oxygen OS felt a little bit more like Nova Launcher on stock Android.
That's how that was the biggest thing I did when they went to 11. I wish there was a theme option that allows us to go back to
something a little simpler.
Yeah.
I do miss that, but I'd rather see OnePlus continue on this track record where consumers have done a much better job of kind of validating the OnePlus experience. Techies are out here whinging on about, OnePlus has betrayed me as an enthusiast, and yet like sales in the EU are up 400%. You're like, yeah, it's because they're better phones. People don't want these compromised feeling experiences just to get a faster processor that they're not going to use. They want a nicer all-round experience, especially as prices have been climbing. And I feel like this is a better course for OnePlus. I'd rather them just take all the pretense out of it and just make these like separate labels of the exact same phone company at this point.
I think to a certain point we've already seen some of those separate labels of the same phone, a little bit depending on which device.
We can all acknowledge that. But I mean, I look at some of the stuff on Find X, and you're like, I wouldn't mind seeing a few more of those daring experiments on a OnePlus. OnePlus seems to be a bit more on the rails mainstream, and Oppo seems to be a little bit more. But I
love their one-offs. I love their experiment with McLaren.
Right.
That McLaren OnePlus that we saw at CES in 2019.
That's why I would like to actually see a little bit more Oppo-ification.
Exactly.
Of OnePlus.
So Oppo still does that.
Yeah.
They did a Mars edition Find X3 Pro that was released only in China and sold out in minutes. Like seriously, a Mars edition. I was like, dude, those are the things. They had the League of Legends Find X2 last year. I'm like, come on. Those are the things, like the cutting edge, beautiful phones that you design. Just we need more.
And especially like if you're into that, like if you're into League of Legends, just how flippin' rad is
dude, that OnePlus, the Cyberpunk 2077 OnePlus 8T to me was more epic than anything. I was so into the game. The phone matched it. It came with a whole package. They had the map, it just, to me, was just so right.
Or because you got to play with it, Michael Peppertech bringing up Concept One and having the ND filter built into the back camera glass. I'm serious. We could really use that on this new sensor on the OnePlus 9 Pro. It is so prone to overexposing in manual mode.
So, seriously, it's been so long since they showed it to us. I'm surprised it hasn't surfaced somewhere, like in any other version of their smartphones, because they've proved it, right? It's already there. It's not just a proof of concept. There were so many versions of that phone, and I know somewhere in OnePlus headquarters somewhere, there's a box of them sitting there doing nothing.
And you could just give them to me, and I would use them. It's frustrating because you know that there's a frank financial conversation that's happening where that would be a tangible benefit. That would be a significant perk to
improvement, camera experience.
How people can really get the most out of a camera, but you know that they're sitting there crunching the numbers and saying, people aren't going to understand it. We'll have to eat the costs on this R&D for at least 2 generations before people get the hang of it. A bunch of techie tryhards are going to sit there and say, oh, it's not good enough, and OnePlus cameras are still garbage, without really shooting on them.
Exactly.
And then, you're gonna be just burning a ton of cash to try and implement something that people aren't going to appreciate. And then when it's gone, people are going to complain that you removed the feature. So it's frustrating because we're kind of locked in the cycle of confirmation bias and validation that's going to prevent us from getting some of these features that would genuinely benefit consumers, even if it were on the rails auto. It's really frustrating.
I'm with you, and like I said, it was very shocking because it was shortly after they showed us the concept one is when they announced that their partnership with McLaren was ending. Yeah. I was like, what? You show us the concept and you're like, oh, by the way, that was just the concept. We're ging to move on now. Look at the
angle it, and then you just yanked it away.
Exactly, and it was literally my last CES of being in that. No, that was a year before, right? That was the 2019. Yeah. That was the one we were all together, and you and I had some. Was it called not smash burgers? Oh man, we had burgers that one night. I forgot the name.
It was no, it wasn't Habit.
No. It was right next to New York. Shake Shack. Thank you. Our CES traditions. We always do some type of burger or something. We go hang out there. Smash Mouth. That's awesome. Oh, I like this one. The Concept Juan. Hey,
Concept Juan. Especially for caring about cameras. I made that video about apertures. I guess that's.
I like it. No, definitely. But yeah, it's kind of like again, it's been an interesting week from just. It wasn't really big on news, but it was a lot of things going on in our lives. Everybody's kind of followed through with us as well. I hope to see more. I mean, it's kind of like also interestingly quiet for announcements if you kind of think about it. Mm-hmm. We went through such a crazy first, I would say 4.5 months of the year where it was like phone after phone after phone after phone after phone. And now all quiet on the Western Front kind of thing hitting with a, no word of Pixel 4 5a, which is very surprising. From Google I/O. I was surprised.
I was expecting some kind of hardware announcement.
Something, yeah, or even like not even there was no talk. Obviously, there's a massive leak dump going on the Pixel 6 and 6 Pro, but that's just that it's.
And honestly, I can't be bothered until the phone is sort of officially or properly announced. Like I like the renders. And I like the idea of giving us the first Pixel with a larger camera sensor and needing some extra depth on that camera housing. That's great. Now I really don't care until
it's
Google,
physically.
Yeah, it tells us like it's legit and this is what's going to be inside of it. And the constant game of, well, this one leaker said this, and it was confirmed by this other writer. But was
I like it? One leaker confirmed the other leaker's information, so therefore the leak must be valid.
I just can't care.
No,
it could all be true. Let's just assume that it's all true. Sure, great.
A big part of it is you want to be excited about the announcement when the announcement is made. So if you keep listening to all the rumors and different changes and ups and downs, at the end of the day, something's going to be right, something's going to be wrong. But we got the gist of it. We understand it's a major redesign. Obviously, we already know they're doing a major redesign with Android 12, so that's already in there. Let's see how Whitechapel does. Let's see what Samsung and Google can do with Wear. And honestly, I want to see some more. Was it Strata? I forgot the Starline. Project Starline that they did with the 3D camera technology that they showed. I'm very interested to see that type of technology develop.
For sure.
Because of the things that we had to do for the last year of video calling and Zoom calling, meeting calling, everything online. Those are the techs that we wanted to see improvement. The camera technology is what we needed to see improve. If nothing else, the last year showcased a very bright light on the fact that webcams suck, big time, and we have laptops that are costing us $2,000-$3,000 with crappy webcams. Anyways, I digress. It's about that time of the day. We are hitting our little over our time.
Start wrapping this up.
I will say this. Congrats on the new place, my friend. Thanks, man. Cannot wait to come over and go around and again just try hopefully some good chicken ramen. It's one of those things. It's one of the fun things I get to do, and honestly, I miss hanging out with you. And it's not just trying to like reminisce and stuff, but seriously, like one of the biggest things, like when we hung out at the park that one day just to do the challenge with the duo, that was fun. And I haven't been hanging out with at all. Like I saw Josh one time for 2 minutes when I was when he was in, I think was it in San Fernando for something, and it was like a split second kind of thing. I just walked over there, said, "Hey man, whatever," but we don't hang out. So I'm hoping that hopefully this summer we get to do some things
We will. No, I mean, it's not even hopefully. Like, we're gonna make this happen.
We'll do.
We're gonna get a chance to and hopefully, if it's gonna be a hopefully, what I can hope is that we can share some of this with folks.
Yeah, that's exactly what it's not just about us hanging, but
even if we can't, I'm making the promise that you and me are at least gonna slurp some noodles together. Like, that's gotta happen.
Bring back the good old memories of early 2020 or late 2019. But I do want to say again, thanks to everybody in the chat, Michael Peppertech, Adam, of course, Gary, Aditya, Ranesh, everybody hanging out with us, kicking his Greg, of course, as well. I think was Andrew was in it. Yeah, Gabriella's in there. Everybody hanging out with us, just kicking it with us late on this late evening on Thursday. And welcome back, Juan, to the best of our week. We'll see you guys hopefully next week. There'll be obviously another show. Don't forget to check out the Saturday show for myself as well as Monday show. And hopefully soon we'll hear about the Across the Podcast coming back, and we'll be able to enjoy that show with Sam and Matt again. Till then, be safe, be good to each other, take care of each other, and enjoy the weekend if you're celebrating the holiday. We'll see you guys next week.
Bam.